Hi, Sarah. It's been a while. Remember the person I introduced to you at the company birthday party? Well, we've decided to tie the knot, and we're looking at the wedding around 7 months from now. It would be awesome if you could make it.
Hey, Ava. It's been so long since we last talked. So you're tying the knot. I can't believe you're getting married ahead of me.
Honestly, I'm astonished too.
Also, I find it hard to imagine you won't wed Mr. Nerve from college. Instead, you go ahead and support yourself with a hotshot employee from a large construction firm. You're so cunning to get married before I do.
Was it supposed to be a competition? We only happened to cross paths at work.
I thought for the longest time you'd end up living a simple life with Mr. Nerd.
Are you talking about David from college? He had to move for work reasons. We both knew a long distance relationship wouldn't work, so we decided to end things. Right now, I have no clue what he's up to or where he is.
So, now you've got this amazing guy who works for a big construction company, and you're engaged to him. I remember you showing me a picture of him. Life can be pretty unfair sometimes. All I want is to marry a wealthy, strong man, leave my career behind, and be a stay-at-home spouse.
Is that the only reason you want to get married?
Marriage is crucial. Women discover satisfaction through marriage and a leisurely home life.
If you were a housewife, you'd probably be rather busy anyway. Don't you have a boyfriend?
Of course. Every week, I try something new. You know. Yesterday, I met a nice brunette. By the way, I'm going to choose whoever I think will make me the happiest if I marry them.
I'm going to act as if I didn't hear anything, since this entire circumstance is completely beyond the bounds of my morality.
When did you say that you would wed? 7 months from now?
Yeah, 7 months.
I only need to get married within the next 7 months. Then, why do you say that? Then I'll be the first to get married.
Okay, sure. Anyway, should I send you an invite?
Sure, send it over.
Ava, I need to discuss something with you.
What's wrong? I have just finished work and I'm on my way home. Did something happen?
I don't think I want to get married.
What? Why not?
You are aware that before getting married, most people get a bad feeling. Well, I've lately been struggling with a lot of uncertainties and anxiety about getting married.
You have no feelings for me?
Look, I've been having trouble with this for a month, and I've had plenty of time to reflect. When I'm feeling this way, I'm not sure whether getting married is the correct decision. And I believe that feeling like this indicates that I'm not ready. This was a misstep in my opinion.
A misstep? But it was you who asked me to marry you. Why suddenly change your mind? Also, the whole wedding's already been arranged. I've already invited all of our relatives and friends.
Yeah, but...
You pushed on having a wedding, even after I informed you I didn't want one. And you continue to declare your steadfast desire for one.
I don't want to wed you. This relationship should end. I'm sorry. And I don't want to put the effort and money that go into a wedding on you.
Do you actually feel that way? You really want this?
That's why I want to stop talking right now. Honestly, I skipped work today so that I could pack up everything. I'm relocating.
Wait a moment. This has happened entirely too quickly. Can we at least discuss this face to face?
I've already given this a lot of consideration and I'm certain that this is what I want. I want you to understand that.
Why have you chosen to end a relationship without even speaking to me first, when there are two of us?
Let's end this because that would be a terrible idea. With things as they are right now, we cannot get married.
Even if you really choose to terminate things, we must first talk about it.
I don't need to talk to you about anything. I'm leaving.
Are you for real? You're really going to end a relationship over SMS messages?
In order to start over, I'm blocking your phone number. Please refrain from calling or visiting me at work. If you do, I'll file a lawsuit to hold you accountable. As you are aware, I am employed by a reputable business. That suggests I am aware of a skilled attorney. I'll have one of them get a restraining order against you if you make any attempt, or I'll have you fined for stalking.
You've got to be joking. Why do you make all the decisions without consulting me at all? You've wanted to stop this relationship for a long time, right?
It's all your fault. Stay away from me. You just wouldn't quit pestering me about getting married. You caused me to feel confined. To be honest, I was considering suing you for harm to my mental health. But I guess I'll save that for last. You should be appreciative that I chose not to pursue this in court.
You were the one who consented to it. James! Are you kidding me? James!
Hello, Ava. I got word that the engagement was over. What's happening?
How did you discover? I'm not really in the mood to message anyone. As soon as I've had a chance to consider everything, I'll contact you.
Instead of canceling all of your bookings for the wedding, why not give them to me?
Huh? I don't understand what you mean.
I'm tying the knot. You're aware that I only work part-time, which results in my low income. And even though my fiancé works well-paying jobs at a reputable construction company, he doesn't want to spend money on a wedding. Therefore, we don't have a lot of extra cash. That's why I was considering giving me your reservations if you were going to cancel them all anyhow.
What? I'm completely perplexed.
Do you believe that canceling a $10,000 wedding is a waste of money? Why don't I do you a favor and be married in the location you selected, to avoid having to call off the whole event? Of course, you would have to pay for the wedding. However, to be fair, you were expected to pay for the whole thing from the beginning. So what changes if I use a venue instead?
Wait. How did you discover the estimated cost of the wedding? How would you discover that I was the one who was making the payment? You said that you were getting married to a well-known construction firm employee who disliked paying for weddings.
It looks like you got it. It's exactly what you think. Your former fiancé and I are engaged.
What? Are you referring to James? You must be joking. Only yesterday did we call off our engagement. How are you already engaged?
Don't worry. I'll explain everything to you. James is my alter ego.
Alter ego?
Do you recall how you told me everything about your upcoming nuptials? The next day, I waited in front of James' office, mostly out of curiosity.
Have you been following him?
I reasoned, why not attempt to converse with him? We immediately clicked after that. We started dating almost instantly after that.
What?
I just wanted to see him at first. You know, I think I was fortunate, since I wasn't even sure whether I'd be able to run into him while waiting outside his office because he emerged shortly after I got there. It had to be destiny.
How can you do this to me?
Sorry, girl. I couldn't help myself. James is not only employed by a big construction firm, but he also has good luck. I concluded that he was the one guy for me after evaluating everything. After all that remained was for me to convince him to share my feelings for him before requesting that he leave you for me. It seems that I will have my ideal husband and wedding.
Therefore, you're informing me that the two of you engaged in a liaison behind my back. Now everything has become clear. James never told me the real reason why he called off our engagement. He immediately decided to end the relationship. So you're saying he left me because he was sleeping with you?
What do you think? Men like to see a well-groomed, beautiful girl around them. You know, if you really cared for James, you would be pleased that he's getting married to me.
Why in the world would I want you two to be hanging out at my expense? We were supposed to pick out some gifts for our guests today. Do you understand that we're getting ready for a wedding here? We'd already set up our honeymoon plans and we're even talking about buying a house together. And then, without ever talking to me, he just decides it's over. How can you expect me to sit by and watch while you marry the guy I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with?
And I'm sorry about that. But he chose to marry me. Besides, he already told me you didn't want to have a wedding. But you wouldn't let it go, would you?
He said he didn't want to waste money on a wedding where he'd be forced to stand in front of a crowd of people. But what has that got to do with anything?
Well, he just agreed to have a wedding for me.
What? He agreed to that?
Yeah. He said that since I was a woman he was marrying, it was worth it.
James, the most anti-wedding person I know, promised you that? Unbelievable!
This just goes to prove that marrying you wasn't as important to him as marrying me. In simple terms, his feelings for you don't measure up to how he feels about me. All of this serves as evidence that he loves you more than he ever loved you.
I've never seen someone so audacious as to ask another person to plan and foot the bill for their wedding. Why on earth would I even think about doing that for you after everything you've said?
Sure, but James is still the groom. So what's the issue? Besides, we've got 3 months until the big day. If you get started now, there's still time to make the changes, considering I'm the bride now.
That's not the issue here. Everything is in James' name or my name. You realize we've even sent out invites with our names on them, right?
It's no big deal, so who cares? Also, I spoke to James earlier. He said, you only invited a few friends and relatives, as well as a couple of people from work. That is all, right?
Well, yeah, but...
Well, since we have a lot of mutual friends, I can easily forward the invites to your relatives and colleagues. Then, I can invite some of my own relatives and a few extra friends to meet the minimum guest count. Making the invites is pretty straightforward, so I can handle that myself. We don't want to burden you too much, right? All we're requesting is for you to handle the wedding expenses.
I'm not doing that. Also, if you're seeing James soon, tell him to reply to my messages. Let's all sit down and talk about this properly. We can talk about what to do from here on out. The wedding, everything.
James said he doesn't want to see you. Whatever was going on between you and James is over. You must already have moved on from this.
I can't believe this. How can you do this?
Look, I'll be married before you from now on. You're getting what you deserve for attempting to outrun me with this. You should definitely just be silent at this point and pay attention to what the winner has to say.
Both of you are bastards.
Ava! Hey! A long time has passed. This is the last step. Today will be the best day of my life. Are you prepared to make a purchase?
The marriage has already ended.
Huh? What are you referring to? The wedding is today. You are aware that you're responsible for paying for it, correct?
Why would I spend money on a wedding that's unrelated to me? The wedding is already past.
What do you mean now?
I have a groom. In fact, I think you already know him quite well.
What? Someone I know? What are you talking about?
The day after James left me, I went to the venue on my own. Since we had already made all the reservations, I thought it would be best to go and let them know that we were canceling the wedding. It was quite a coincidence that I bumped into him at the event. It felt like a stroke of fate.
Fate? What are you talking about? Who?
It turns out that David was the venue's manager.
David? Do you mean Mr. Nerd David from college? That boring college guy that you've been dating? I can't believe he's changed like that.
That's the same David from college. Honestly, I thought the exact same thing as you. There's no way that's David. I told him the whole situation when he came to me. He advised me not to call off the wedding, just to alter the date after I explained what had occurred. He then abruptly proposed to me after saying that I should marry him instead. Naturally, I was shocked, but I agreed.
It's like the plot of a movie. It can't be true.
When we spoke, the venue had just had a cancellation for last week. So about a week ago, we made the most of all my wedding planning and decided to tie the knot.
Wait a minute. Then what about my wedding?
You're talking about the wedding you and James planned yourselves, right?
No. We were supposed to use the wedding you had planned for you and James.
You really have a lot of nerve. You sound absolutely stupid. I changed the date of my wedding too. I understand well that you expect me to just give you the time and money I spent preparing my wedding. Did you really think I would do it?
Of course. You were the one who was supposed to pay for the whole wedding.
I don't recall making any such promises.
You didn't need to promise me you would do it because I told you to do it.
That's why I called you and asked to talk so we could clear things up. You two were the ones who decided to ignore all my calls.
Just to clarify, you're saying that the wedding you arranged happened a week ago? And we've only booked the venue? I went to the location, informed them I wanted to get married on the date you chose, and chose my dress. The dress was the one thing I decided on by myself. Primarily because I was convinced it would be awful since you picked it.
Did you sign the contract?
Do you mean the document that I signed reversing the bride's previous name to mine?
When you went to sign the contract, didn't you listen to the explanation they gave you properly?
No. I was too busy thinking about what kind of ceremony I wanted to have.
What about James?
James said that women should officiate weddings, and he left all the planning to me. Consequently, he hasn't been involved in any wedding-related tasks at all. On a related note, I noticed a very attractive staff member at the venue, and he kept giving me glances. Was that David?
Maybe. I've told him everything.
Seriously? He was so attractive that I wanted to talk to him. James was present, so I made the decision not to even attempt. I assumed he couldn't have made much money since he was also employed at the venue, when I could have acquired myself a gorgeous guy from an affluent family. Why did I choose the employee of a random construction firm instead?
I mean, sure, James works for a large construction company now, but I'm pretty sure he's up for a demotion.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
Didn't he tell you he's being sent to a remote office belonging to a subsidiary of the construction company he works for?
He didn't tell me anything. Why would he tell you this? What's going to happen to his salary?
I don't know, but I'm sure he's facing a salary cut too. I mean, it is a small office in the middle of nowhere. to be fair.
How do you know all this?
Because I told James' boss all about the two of you and what the both of you did to me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get ready for my honeymoon in Paris. Good luck with your super rich and successful boyfriend from the construction company.
The talk isn't done yet. What about my nuptials?
While I'm gone, my attorney will be in control. So speak to him if you want to talk about anything involving money or the damages you owe me.
This isn't fair.
That's life. Enjoy it.
No. Hold on a second, please. Ava, I'm begging you. Please, aid me in fixing this. You have to pay for the wedding. Aren't we friends?
No one has ever done such an awful thing like that to their friend. We're not friends anymore. Wish you a good life, Sarah. I recently discovered that despite everything, those two ultimately decided to marry each other. It seems fitting that a manipulative witch and a greedy rat would end up together. However, their situation didn't turn out as idyllic as they'd hope. I must mention that I managed to secure significant compensation through legal means from my ex-partner. As a result, they're now facing a challenging period in their lives. To afford lower rent, they relocated from the city to a remote area and are currently leading a modest lifestyle as they repay me. I have no sympathy for their predicament, as I have been exploring various new experiences alongside my current spouse. Fate is an interesting thing.